Hey guys, Deju22 here, and well, I just wanted to talk about something, and this might be potentially the start of a new series, and I want to do this, probably to replace any Let's Play that I have on my channel, once I'm done with it, because, reason why, I don't think I've mentioned this in the summer update video, but I might as well mention it right now. And that is, because I'm either going to get a job, or I'm going to be at school for 3 classes. And for 3 classes, that's a lot. I mean, 2 is bad enough, but 3 is really asking for it. But honestly, I want to get my degree, and also I do want to get a job. So it's either I get a job or I get 3 classes. Now, what this means is that what I'm trying to get at is I want to lighten the load, so to speak. And I know that I know that 2 of my Let's Plays, Kirby and Star Fox 64, are coming to a close. And and plus I have 2 other Let's Plays on Much Games Guides and Insomania. So do check those out. So if you want to see more of me, you can on those channels. Do check out all the members of the 2 channels that I mentioned in the description there. But anyways, enough of those particular updates. I just wanted to talk to you about something, and I actually had jury duty. Yes, I had jury duty. Now, before anyone asks, I am not going to disclose the case of which I was going to, or what I am, or what I was. I'll get to that part in a moment. But I'm not going to disclose the case that I was presiding over. Reason why is because I've been told to keep it on the hush-hush, but I can't say much more about that, other than the fact that I was, or perhaps am, still on the jury. More on that later. But I will say that I got a jury summons, and being that this was my very first time, I followed the instructions on the website. I take it back then, before the website was refined, I know that websites were not very reliable until probably 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. And before that, the best way to know when to come in was by a phone call. And I know that the phone service, it costs money to keep up, and it turns out that the website, although it was expensive to begin with at the time, it does save them a lot of money and a lot of grief, because that's saving on minutes on the phone. So that helps. And before that, you had to actually go to the place when you were told to go on the piece of paper. They would actually give you a date and a time to be there. And if you were not there, whether it was then or now, if you weren't there when you were called, you would be subject to, what is it, I don't know what the official charge of not showing up for jury duty would be, but it would be grounds for arrest, at least here in America. I don't know how it is in Canada, Mexico, the United Kingdom, or heck, even Brazil, of whom is hosting the World Cup, FIFA. And as far as my thoughts on it so far is that the one game that got my attention was Brazil and Mexico going to a 0-0 tie. So So that, I saw that at a local, well, I'll get to that point in a moment. But I will say that I followed the instructions online, and I was summoned to go on Tuesday, June 17th of this year. And I have to say, and I'm just going to tell you my experience, but I'm not going to tell you about the case that I was given. But anyway, my experience was that I got in the room, I sat where I needed to sit. I sat where I wanted to sit, because there's a bunch of seats. But a lot of people showed up, and if you weren't there early enough, then you would have to stand up. But before that, you had to get in line. You had to follow a red line all the way up to the counter where they would give you a questionnaire. And the questionnaire would be more like personal stuff as well as stuff that would otherwise help the court. And I'll explain later about that, but and then, so I sat down, I filled out the application, or not the application, but the questionnaire, and I just filled it out to the best of my ability, and then after that, I had to wait for my name to be called to be a part of a jury. And I was picked for one case. They took me, there's like 6 floors of this jury building. It's 6 floors because, well, it's not a courthouse in the traditional sense, but for what it is, it's amazing. It's a nice facility, I will say that. And it's really nice. It's been kept really good. But I was picked along with several others, about a good 30 to 40, I think. I don't know how many exactly, but at least 40 people started out the process. And on the first day, I ended up in the audience. 12 people were selected to be in the juror's box. And then there would be 6 others in front of the jurors, to take the place of the people that are in the box. We'll just call it the juror's box, the box. So, the people in front of the box could potentially take over for the people in the box. And then there are those in the audience, which is where I ended up on the first day in. And on that first day, a good 18 or 19 people actually filed out. They had to sign, there were, the judge, he went over the instructions first and foremost. I almost forgot to mention that. He went over the instructions, and he would ask us if there is any reason why that none of us should be on the jury, or that that we would not be on the jury to be selected, or otherwise, that we would have to assign a hard times, or I forget what it's called, but it's a form where you fill out the reason why you can't serve, in the sense that either you would be impartial, or you can't afford to serve jury duty because you have a job, and the longer you're away from the job that you work at, then you're not going to make any money for your family. So there were people that had to leave because of reasons like that, and other people ended up getting sent to another trial to serve, to be the jury on another trial. But But the end result was that the judge had to let everybody else go for the day, so we were released relatively early. And then it was on that day that I ended up having the Round Table Pizza lunch buffet. I'm not sure if you guys have a Round Table Pizza buffet, or not a buffet, but a Round Table Pizza in Canada or wherever else. But I had a buffet, a lunch buffet, and that includes breadsticks, salad, and pizza, and soda was separate. So I had that, and I actually had a good time. I got my money's worth on that. I mean, I had like 2 things of salad and several pieces of pizza, but they were relatively small slices, so they weren't big slices. And I had some breadsticks, and they also had some cinnamon sticks, which is basically breadsticks but coated in cinnamon sugar. And those were really good, especially towards the end. But it was at that particular Round Table Pizza that they had a high-definition television, and that's where I got to see the matchup between Mexico and Brazil. And I have to say, the game itself was amazing because Brazil... Now, for those of you that don't know your soccer, Brazil is one of the greatest, or is one of the most well-known, and one of the great powerhouses in national soccer history, or international soccer history, I should say, excuse me. But they have a rich history of winning championships more than any other country in the world. And Mexico is not one of those powerhouses, but it's a power, but not to the level that Brazil is. So just keep that in mind when I talk about this, because, Brazil many times had opportunities to score a goal on Mexico, and Mexico had a few opportunities, but the goalkeeper for Mexico was amazing. Just amazing, because, just when you thought that the Brazilians were going to score, the goalkeeper was just amazing at those saves. I mean, he got the saves when he needed them, and the end result was a 0-0 tie. And that's important, especially in the first round, because the first round consists of a pool of 4 teams, and I think there's like 8 pools. Someone can correct me on that, but there's 8 pools of 4 teams each. And within those pools, each team has to go up against all 3 of their teams, or all 3 of their opponents within the pool. And then, after those 3 games, the team that has the most points, a win is worth 3 points in the standings, a tie is worth 1, and a loss is 0. And the 2 teams within each pool move on to elimination style play, which is like a pure tournament. And basically how they do within the pools determines who they get to play in the rounds to come, and they just go on from there until there's a winner at the very end. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it works. So, Mexico had a win coming in, as did the Brazilians, and they ended up with a tie. So I don't know what's happened. I don't know if, either team has had a game yet, but all I know is the game itself was amazing. On top of the lunch I had, it was just amazing. And then we fast forward to, today, as of the time that I'm making this, which would be June 18th, 2014. So, to start the day, I actually just go straight into the department number, which is where the case that I was given was held. And I actually ended up in the juror's box, so I was in the box. And for the longest time, I was in the box, and the judge, as well as in this case, the defendant, or the defense attorney, I should say, as well as the prosecuting attorney, asked us a series of questions. And those questions were based solely on whether we could judge impartially. And truth be told, I was willing to do it. I was willing to judge partially. I didn't have very many experiences to the point where I could not judge impartially. And to make a long story short, it was about, I think it was about 2 o'clock, 2:30, I think. And, after they released a few people, after some people have been dismissed either because they couldn't judge, fairly, or in one person's case, they couldn't afford to stay on the jury, so that person had to leave. And I think it was around 2:30 that the prosecutor, the prosecuting attorney, well, the thing is, the attorneys also have the right to dismiss. They don't have to state why they dismiss us. They just dismiss us because there was still a bunch of people in the audience awaiting their chance to possibly be a part of the jury, and because I was already in the box, all I had to do was either stay there, or until I was either dismissed or I was actually going to be a part of the jury itself. And it just so happened that the prosecuting attorney dismissed me. And normally you would think, well, to be cut from the team is not a good feeling, right? Well, I'm not going to complain about it. I mean, not that I didn't have any interest. I was willing to do it, but they dismissed me, so I can't say that I'm sad, but I'm just happy that it's over. But I will say, as far as the case was concerned, I can't say much about it, but I wish the defense attorney and his defendant, as well as the prosecuting attorney and the judge and the bailiff, as well as all the jurors, the prospective jurors, and those who will become the jury, I just want to wish them the best of luck. That's all I'm going to say. So, it lasted 2 days, and I actually thought it was going to last a lot longer than that, but I'm just happy that it's over, and that it's going to be another 18 months before I can potentially be a part of a jury again, so I'm just happy about that. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And before I go, I just want to ask one question. And I guess you can say I want to start a new series, and this might become something called Tiju 22 Radio, I guess you could say. I mean, it's just a running gag. I mean, if you guys have, I guess I might have 2 questions. Okay. Number 1, as far as a audio log series, what should I call it? Like, what should I call the audio log series? And number 2, and this is a big one, on the next episode, I want you to leave a comment stating what I should talk about. Like something fun or something relatively serious, but it has to be, something that I would not mind talking about. But, just because you put it on I'm just going to say this. Don't be offended if I don't take your idea for the next topic of discussion on this vlog, or on my vlogs. It's just, I mean, I will consider your comment and your idea for a topic on another video such as this. I can't do everything all at once, but, I mean, who knows? I might be able to do 2 topics per video, or 1. I mean, it depends on the topics themselves, so do leave a comment, and do tell me what you want me to talk about. And if I don't want to talk about it, it's probably because I'm either uncomfortable, or it's way too personal, and I won't say anything about it, you know, because if it's too personal, I'm not going to make it. And if I'm not comfortable with it, I'm not going to say anything about it, because, well, I could be, you know, offending people without realizing it, so I'm just putting it out there right now. So yeah, do tell me what you want me to talk about on the next vlog, and also come up with an idea for what I should call it. Until then, this is your host, Taju22, signing off, saying goodbye, and I hope to see you next time, okay? Alright, peace out, everybody.